Welcome back to the Learn to Love You show. My name is Renita Hills, and I am honored to be your host for the evening. Along with being the host for this evening, I am also the founder and CEO of Voice of the Victim. Voice of the Victim is an organization that works with victims and survivors of domestic abuse, abusive behaviors, and sexual assault. Our goal is to help people to transition from being a statistic to a victim to a survivor and ultimately a thriver in spite of the abuse they've endured. This show is to encourage you to be the best you that you can possibly be. Every week, I try to give you a word of encouragement, and this week is going to be trust your gut. Trust what you're feeling. Trust it. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. If it doesn't feel right, you probably shouldn't do it. Especially we as women. Now, that's not to say men don't have this feeling as well, but we as women, I truly and strongly believe that God gave us another instinct because we are the weaker vessel. He gave us another instinct to feel when something isn't quite right. And I think it goes for children too. You give you something to say, this is not comfortable, something's not feeling right, this isn't good, something's wrong. Trust your gut. I would much rather you err on the side of safety than to come back and have to come out to the hospital to see you or come visit you at the home or at your home or, the worst case scenario, be sitting next to one of your loved ones picking out what you're going to wear when we bury you. Yes, that was hard. That was deep. But yes, it can be just that serious. I have sat next to so many families and had to help them to decide what color flowers, what dress, what coffin, what color to put in the lining, who's going to be at the funeral. All these things are happening because somebody did not trust their gut. Why am I talking about trusting your gut this week? Because last week I promised you we were going to talk about predator and prey. And predator and prey leads directly into trusting what you're feeling. I like to watch the animal channels. Okay, I'm a nerd. I watch the animal channels because I love watching the animals in their natural habitat, the elephants, and I like watching the lions, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my! I do like watching animals in their natural habitat. But the one thing I do like to watch more than anything is how they interact with each other. How do they survive out there in that area, in that arena, in their habitat? We know how we survive. We go to work, we get a check, we go to the grocery store and buy food. They don't have it like that. I was watching The Lion King. Okay, it's a little off topic. The Lion King, and he says everything that you survey is yours. But then the hyenas come along and they just tear things up because they are predators. And that's what they do. They go out and they just tear things up and they eat to survive. But then you look at the one that they've eaten, the animals that they've devoured just to survive. Those are the prey. Let's go to Webster. Predator is an animal that naturally preys on others. For instance, wolves prey on rodents. Birds prey on fish. Lions, tigers, cougars, wildcats, they prey on animals like deer, antelope, elephants. You get the point? Now, what is a prey? A prey is an animal that is hunted and killed for food. That's the difference between the animal kingdom and us. The animal kingdom will not kill unless it's for food. In the animal kingdom, they will not hurt each other unless it is to survive. Now, we as humans, we're a little bit different. We hurt just for the spite of it sometimes. But to swing it back down to abusive behaviors, that's what the predator prey scenario is for a person who is in an abusive relationship situation. I don't know why I'm skipping on my words, but relationship situations, that's a predator prey scenario. For example, and I told you I'm going to always use myself. the person I was with, my ex-husband, he knew I was from New York. Yeah, the streets. Born in Harlem, raised in the South Bronx, and proud of it. He knew that I was from the streets of New York. He also knew that my sister was a sergeant in the police office and a police officer in New York City. He also knew that my oldest brother was a sharpshooter and my brother right above me was a marksman. He knew he couldn't come at me fist to face. That wasn't going to work. He knew that even if I didn't fight back, one phone call and half of New York City would be at his front door and he wouldn't be able to do anything with it. So he had to find another way. Last week we talked about how he started talking about the way I cooked and the way I cleaned and me being overweight. He knew that my family has a history of obesity, and being small was very important to me. And I worked very hard to keep a healthy weight, not necessarily skinny, but healthy weight. So he attacked my weight and he attacked the way I dress and he attacked my size. That's the predator. When I watched the animal kingdom, I watched how the cougar would sit back in the bush and he'd watch the antelope. The first is a whole herd of them. They're sitting there and they're lapping up the water and they're enjoying the sun and the cool of the day and they're just enjoying it. After a while, some of the antelope would leave. They would leave. And next thing you know, it's maybe two or three left, but they're separated from each other. Then you find finally, that last one. Then he realizes, okay, now I have to sneak around back because if I let him know I'm here, the animal will run. The prey will run. So they sneak around back and they find a way to get to you. He finds a way to get to that antelope where he doesn't realize he's there until it's too late. The same scenario is the same thing in abusive relationships. In my case, he knew he couldn't come at me straight on because I had so much family, so much friends. I had half the state of New York would have been down here on his doorstep. So what he did first was find my weak points. Talking about my cooking, he stripped away my mother's and my grandmother's and my cooking recipes, all that. He took that away first. One strip. The next thing was my weight. Another strip. You don't clean well enough. Another strip. You want to go back to school? Why? You're not smart enough. You're not going to graduate. Another strip. You don't make enough money. I worked one full-time job and two part-times, and I'm still not making enough money. Another strip. Now, don't get me wrong. This didn't all happen in 6 months. This happened over a period of time. Predators are patient. They are very detailed. They wait to look for the weak spot before they attack. That antelope that was lapping water, when I was watching that show, every now and again he would raise his head like he heard something. But because he didn't see it, he would put his head back in the water and started lapping water again. Then he heard it again and he started looking around. This time a little bit longer, and he looked a little more intently. But because he didn't see it, he went back in, started lapping the water again. The same thing applies to me. I'm going to say me. The same thing applied to me because I didn't see the abuse. I didn't see the control and the power he was trying to take over me. My gut told me something was wrong, but I didn't see it. So I went back to doing what I thought was normal, what I thought was okay, what I thought was right. And it didn't hit me until it was too late, until I had been separated from all my family and friends. I had stopped going to family reunions. I stopped going out with my friends on Friday and Saturday night. I stopped going to my mom's house every weekend. I stopped doing what was natural, what I was in my comfort, my protection. I stopped being around and let the people who were looking out for me, I let them go away and didn't really realize that they were gone until it was too late. Then when I finally realized that they were gone, what do I do now? I'm in trouble. I'm out here in this whole thing, this whole scenario. This antelope was out here in this open area with no one around. That's exactly what I was like. I was out there by myself. I had alienated, I allowed myself to be alienated from all of my support systems. I say that to say, if I had trusted my gut when he first started trying to strip my love, the things I cared about, the things that I treasured, when he first started stripping that away from me, had I paid attention to my gut at that point, I wouldn't have been left alone. I wouldn't have been left in a position to be devoured, to be taken over, to be stripped, to be destroyed, to my very core of who I was, to be crushed under somebody else's jaw. Yes, I'm showing graphics because that's exactly what it felt like. I felt like when everything was said and done, like I said last week, I didn't see the scars. The scars, yes, it hurt. I woke up in the hospital in so much pain. It was excruciating. Remember, I had 7 surgeries in one day. So, yes, it was excruciating. Both lungs were punctured and collapsed. I had tubes drawing out of my sides to get my lungs to breathe. My head was split open. I was stapled together from the base of my head to the crown. Fingers and faces were sliced open. So, yes, it was excruciating pain. It was horrid, horrible pain. But with time, that pain started to diminish. My daughters would tell me, and she'd say, "Mom, they gave you that button to push every time you hurt, but it was only giving you so much medicine every hour, but you kept pushing that button." My mind made me feel better by pushing that button. That's how much pain I was in. But with time, the pain went away, the swelling went away, the bruises went away. I was able to get the activity of my right arm again and the feeling back in my left arm. I started feeling better about my face and it wasn't as swollen. I looked like somebody that punched me. I had black eyes all the way for weeks on end. I started feeling better and the scars, I didn't see them especially when they took the staples out and the stitches, the scars started going away and I didn't see them as much. But that lonely feeling still persisted. That feeling of loneliness, of emptiness, of disconnection, it was still there. I was still, although again, that antelope by that water, still there by myself, licking my wounds, trying to figure out a way to heal so I can walk back to my tribe. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. My mind was so torn and so crushed, I couldn't find my way back. It was so hard. And even to this day, it's still a challenge on some days. There are some things when I go to work, there are days when people say things that trigger and make me think, oh, wait a minute, that's about to happen again. Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Did you just say that? And I have to catch myself. No, they're not him. I'm still trusting my gut. I'm still looking at it. I'm still evaluating. But I have to remember that every time somebody says, that tastes good, maybe a little bit of salt. Can I pass the salt, please? It doesn't mean my food isn't good. It's just they want more salt. It's not a direct insult towards me. So again, it's not the physical part that I struggled with. It was the mental because I became prey to a predator that knew just where, just how, just when to attack and take away everything, every scaffolding, every support system that I had around, even my church, even my church, the pastor of my church, the one that I trusted with my soul, let my body get damaged. Is it his fault? I don't say it's his fault that the attack happened because only one person is responsible for that. But when I called for help, they weren't there. That's a subject we're going to talk about later. We're going to talk about domestic violence in the church later. But for now, I want you to learn how to trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, you have the right and the responsibility to walk away. Use that most powerful word that we often feel like we have to explain, but we don't. It's a strong word with only two letters, and it stands alone. It does not need an explanation. It doesn't need a why. That simple word is no. Own it, use it, work it, smile about it. Tell them no. And if the no by itself doesn't work, tell them no and walk away. Anything else that you be said? No. Well, Renita, why won't you? Because I said no. Why won't you do this for me? No. But why are you saying no? Because it's a no. You're not doing anything else. And I'm saying all this because this is what people will say. This is what people will do. And this is what your abuser will do. They will say, why not? You're my spouse. You're my husband. You're my wife. You're supposed to. You need to be subjective. You need to be submissive. You need to go out and get a job. You need to, you need to, you need to. If it doesn't feel right, exercise and invite, implore, employ your no. If it doesn't feel right, you have the right to say no. You have the responsibility to say no. God gave you this life. He only gave you one. You had one shot at it. One. This body he gave you one. Only one. It is our responsibility to take care of it fully and completely. And that includes saying no. Now, Minister Hills often gets you don't get to say no. You're a minister. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I get to say no. I get to say, no, I'm not going to do that. I might add, because my time doesn't allow, my schedule doesn't allow, but my no still stands. Then you're not a Christian. You're supposed to be there. You're right. Christians are supposed to be there. But I'm still saying no because my time does not allow. And my schedule it doesn't fit in my schedule. Do you know that there were times that even Jesus said no? You don't believe me? He turned over them tables. He sure did. He said, no, you are not going to disrespect my father's house. No. You don't believe me? I'll give you another one. They said, Jesus, your boy Lazarus, and I'm going to talk to this, I'm going to say it like Renita's language. Your boy Lazarus is dying. You need to come heal him. He said, no, we're not going right now. But that's your best friend. That's your boy. His sisters cooked for you, and they washed your feet. You're not going to go heal him? Your best friend? No. If Jesus can exercise a no, oh, I'm going to go one better. If God can tell us no, then why you can't say no? Exercise your no. Trust your gut. Believe in it. Feel it. Allow yourself to feel the anxiety that comes along with someone asking you to do something that you're not comfortable with doing. Now, I do want to say this. If you are currently in an abusive relationship that is dangerous, physically dangerous, be cautious on how you say your no. I don't want you walking up to your abuser and say, no, you ain't going to do this no more. And then something happened and you say, oh, Miss Renita told me to tell you no. I'm telling you to be wise. I'm telling you, you are in the scenario. You're there. We're going to give you the tools on how to relieve yourself of abusive situations safely, how to get out safely, and not just get out safely, but be successful that you don't have to go back. 7 times is a person that goes back to their abuser. 7. The average person goes back to their abuser 7 times. Now, why would somebody go back to somebody who's abusive to them, especially if they're beating them up? Why would they go back? The answer is there are so many different answers, but one of them I'm going to say is this. When they left, they weren't prepared. They didn't plan on how to leave and leave successfully. We're going to give you those tools as well. The biggest thing is make a plan, have a backup plan. And then when you have that backup plan, have somebody there that's going to support you. I just told you, you've alienated yourself from everybody else. That means you're going to have to come out of your comfort zone and you're going to have to say, hey, Yvette, I know I haven't answered your phone calls. I haven't talked to you. I know I've left myself out there by myself and I've been kind of ignoring you and dissing you a little bit, but I need you to support me now. Real friends will be right there for you. They'll help you. They may talk about you a little bit and say, girl, you know I had your back. I was really just trying to help you. What you need, they'll be there for you. And if you don't have that friend, go to your local shelter, go to your local advocacy program, go to the health department, go to the police department, go to the fire department. These are all public entities that are prepared and have the resources to help you get out of that scenario safely and successfully. The national number is 1 800 723. I'm sorry, 1 800 7. The devil is a lie. 1 800 799 7233. I got cross eyed for a second there, y'all. 1 800 799 7233. If you can't remember the numbers, 1 800 799 SAFE. 799 SAFE. If you can't get to somebody and you can't get to that number, go to any public facility and they're there to help. Go to a hospital, they're there to help. The police department, the fire department. Go to a public library, they are there to help. You do not have to stay in those situations by yourself. You are absolutely not alone. Predator prey is real. Trust your gut. Exercise your no. And remember, you're not in this by yourself. You're not. Trust your gut. If you need some help, write in the comments below. Put your name and number, and I'll try to get back with you as early as I possibly can. Again, don't count on me. The resources are there for you. 211 is another number you can use. They have all the resources at their fingertips just for you. Remember again, this is the Learn to Love You show. We are here to help support you and help you to be a better you, whatever that you is. We talked about this before. If you don't know what you're supposed to be, the next steps you're supposed to travel down, that's okay. Go back to when you were a little boy, a little girl. What did you want to be there? Build from that. You have a future. You are fearfully and wonderfully made by the hands of God. He has a purpose and a destiny for your life. You're still here, so you're not finished. Walk it out. You need help? Call for the help. It may feel like you're that antelope all by yourself, but you're not. Somebody is there to help you. Call that 800 number, 799 SAFE. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time to sit and listen to us. Again, if you need any help, we're here for you. 211 1 800 SAFE 7223. And again, remember, always, beneath your skin and behind your eyes is a beautiful you. Learn to love you. Until next time, be blessed.